But it's just gonna be like two people chatting, just not really an interview, more like talking. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Tonight's guest is Saturday's champions. Saturday's champ. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Oops, hold on a minute. Tonight's guest is Saturday's champion. I did a rookie mistake. There, I got it. Hello, welcome. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's go back in chat, and we'll go up top and introduce people. Say hi to some people in chat. Start off with MI6, Jason Lamb, Valerie Stonefly, Joy Stewart, Scott Swift, let's see who else is in here. Right now, that's all we have in here. So everybody knows the infamous guest that we have right now, Mr. Double Hook Angling. We have Robin C. that just came in, Susquehanna Stan. So tonight, if you have any questions for Stan, please put them in chat, and I'll make sure I catch them, and we can get them asked to him. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, my name's Dave, Double Hook Angling. How y'all doing?
So, how long have you been into catfishing?
Oh, let's see. I'll be 50 next year, so about 40 years. Since I was probably about 9 or 10.
You're a young man.
Yeah. We lived on a lake, so it made it easy.
I wish I lived on the lake.
I wish I could go back.
I wish I lived on a river. Heck with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living on a river that you could navigate. Something you can see. Right now, our rivers are deep enough that you might get your ankles wet if you get in the middle.
That ain't a river. That's a creek.
Yeah. Well, right now it is, because it's probably 10 foot wide and about 3 inches deep.
Robin says it was an honor to fish with you on Saturday.
Oh, it was fun. I had a blast.
Joy wants to know, DHA, tell us about your handicap rod holders that you're wanting to build.
Did you what?
Joy wants you to tell them about the handicap rod holders that you want to build.
Okay. I basically, by meaning handicap, I want them up to a level to where you don't have to bend over to grab them. And they're going to be like a lot of other anglers' designs, where it'll be two rods that come up, and then you have the bent top. You'll have, in mine, you'll have two positions you'll have like probably about an 80 degree, so just a slight angle, and then you'll have a 45, and then you'll have a straight up. So there'll be 3 total angles, but just, 2 angles and 1 straight up, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
And but they'll be easy to pull out, so you won't have to feed the handle all the way out. You'll just be able to lift up.
That's cool.
And that's kind of my hope. I mean, you'll have to lift a little bit, but it won't be, so bad.
Aaron wants to know, do you crappie fish?
Yes, that is my main thing. And my design, my logo is a crappie, and that is my, number one thing. But I tie jigs and stuff and flies
you tie jigs too?
Oh yeah, I tie jigs and flies. I am trying to get my website set up. I have doublehookangling.com, but right now I just, blank page. And I'm trying to get it set up to where I can sell my merchandise, my T-shirts, my hats, my stickers, and my jigs.
Catfishing Crappie, Lyle, Fields and Waters, a few other in this community also tie jigs as well.
Yeah. Lyle had me on his on Panfish Nation a couple months back.
That's cool. We have Leon in the house. We got Turtle Lady Noodler in the house.
Did you see Gregory sneak by?
Huh?
Gregory just sneaking by, putting the dogs in and out.
Yeah, I seen that. Amanda Bronner. Damn River Boys. Now, let's see.
Hi, everybody.
So what would you say would be what would be your favorite species of fish to catch?
Well, it's kind of a tie between the crappie and then the channel cats. I mean, I like catching channel cats just because they're so plentiful and there's a lot to do. And you seen me yesterday using 2 and 4 pound line in a lake that I know that the biggest catfish was probably 12 or 15 at the most. So it's just fun.
I was waiting to see you catch a 12 and 15 pound cat on that 2 and 4 pound test. How long it take it to bring it in?
The biggest one I've ever caught on the 2 pound line is about 7 pounds, and it was probably 15 minutes.
Robin C wants to know: are you going to consider a net holder too for your wheelchair?
A rod holder for the wheelchair?
A rod holder for your net for the wheelchair.
I still did for the back of my wheelchair. No, I can't put nothing on the back of my chair, not even a backpack, because I don't have no wheelie bars or I don't even have any handles for people to grab. So with my to get around easier, my tip rate is right there. All I got to do is lean back far enough and I tip backwards.
Oh no.
So that if I put something on there, or if the older ladies like to come up, like I'm talking older, like 70, 80 years old, when they want to come up and say hi to you, they want to lean on your wheelchair. And when they do that, I have to lean forward or they'll flip me over backwards. And I usually take them with me, and that's not a good thing. But I got another design that I want to make the same kind of rod holder that what I was talking about to put into the ground. I want to make one that's on a single rod to hook up with a clamp onto my wheelchair in the front, just so I can have it to where if it's too rocky or there's concrete, because, if you're in a wheelchair, a lot of places you're going to fish, they're going to be concrete slabs, or you're going to try to get to those places anyway. So there's really no place to put a rod holder. And if you could mount one, most wheelchairs have a front part that goes by your leg and goes down, and you can mount a bracket on there, just a couple clamps to where you clamp the rod holder and your chair, or mount solid to the rod holder and then grab your chair. And it would even work for, your stationary chair that you guys take out and sit in, if it's a bigger folding chair and stuff. Of course, most of us on here, we need that bigger folding chair,
Yeah, I understand that quite well. I'm a big guy, so I need a big chair. I need one that can handle my weight.
Yeah, I'm not too big. I'm about 240, but that's good enough.
You're small.
Yeah, my buddy that goes fishing with me, he's like 405. And he has a hard time finding chairs, but he finally found one just recently at Walmart. It holds like 600 pounds, but it cost him like $40, but he was more than willing to pay it. Got a little table on the side.
Now, do you pour your plastics for jigs, or do you do a lot more of your hair ties?
All my jigs are feather ties. I do hackled jigs, and then I do marabou jigs, and then of course I tie, all kinds of flies, whether it's prince nymphs, little bluegill stuff, gnats, things like that. Just whatever people want. And as of late, it's kind of, I don't know what happened this spring. I did pretty good, but like the last month and a half, I've not had but maybe 15, 20 orders. So, which ain't no big deal, but I'm fixing, I got the lead pot going too. I'm fixing was going to pour some weights, and then I got kind of ran behind. So now I have the lead pot on low until we're done.
Now, how long have you been pouring your own weights for?
I've been pouring my own lead probably 10 years. And then I've been pouring my own jigs probably for about 7 years.
So how long? How long you been pouring your jig heads? 7 years.
The jig head's about 7 years.
And you have a certain size hook you like using for them?
Do what?
Do you have a certain size hook that you like to use for them?
The number one hook I make is a number 4.
Okay.
It's like the perfect hook for, the crappie that are like 10 to 12 inches. In my opinion, that's a perfect hook. You can either run 32nd on it, or you can run, you could pour it in I think I got a 5/16 head mold that a 4 hook will fit in.
We have Rustic Outdoors that came in. We have Fishing for Whiskers, Robin C., Solo Texas Adventures. Let's see who else. Scott Swift, Amanda Bronner. So, who was it that got you into fishing?
I had I have an uncle that when we moved to Texas, my uncle is the one that lived by the lake, and so did my grandparents. And then, so my mom and dad, they moved down there to be with my grandparents because my granddad had a heart attack. And so, me being 9 years old, I got drug along. And my uncle, since my mom and dad worked, I stayed with my uncle and aunt, and my uncle always took me fishing. And that's the number one thing he did was catfishing, because he liked river fishing. But, then later on, we started fishing docks and stuff like that, because the lake would allow you to fish the public dock.
How many tournaments have you been online?
One yesterday.
So that was your debut into a tournament?
Yeah. At least I won the day.
Yeah, you won the day, but were you?
Yeah, I lost it. And I lost the tournament to 2 guys that were really well deserving of it. So
hey, they
Rustic
did everything. They were you guys literally took that title to heart.
Yeah. Solo and Rustic did a great job. So.
Oh yeah, they did. But
yeah, I kind of wished I wouldn't have had everything that happened in the last couple of days, especially yesterday, getting that phone call while I was there. But she's in bed now. She's doing a little better. At least her stomach ache has gone away, but she's still she still don't feel well.
But that's part of life. That's what happens.
Yeah.
We have Paul Boyd that came in. We have Arrowhead that came in. Carmel Muncie. So how was it to debut your first tournament? How did you feel?
Oh, I had a blast. I was a little nervous going into it, and then yesterday morning I woke up at like 5 o'clock and was all antsy and trying to get there and trying to get Gregory out of bed and get the truck loaded and then get to Walmart, and then how I didn't realize that Walmart that early in the morning is pretty packed with everybody trying to get something. And then so I had to wait in line, which made me late. And so that made me a little apprehensive. But then once we got online and everything was fine.
We have Mr. Kitty Whiskers in here, and we have the champ of the itty bitty kitty catfish tournament in here, Solo Texas Adventures.
Congrats, Solo. Good job, bud.
And would you believe there's 2 other ladies that were fishing with you yesterday that was also their debut?
Oh, was it their debut too?
Yeah, Robin C. and catfishing queen Tanya Hollis.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought Robin, it was her first day, but I didn't know that Tanya's was.
Tanya's always been behind the camera. She's never been in front of the camera fishing.
Yeah. Well, I know when Dom and everything, you kind of hear. So
yeah, we have Justin Fishing Fetish come in. Justin Fishing Fetish come in 922. Annette Morgan, hello. So, in your years, what have you picked up both fishing from a bank and fishing from a kayak?
well, they're both completely different. I mean, besides the obvious, from bank, you're kind of limited because, I mean, even with a good surf rod, you're only going to get out 150, 200 feet with a really good surf rod. You might get further than that if you're standing, but if you're sitting in a wheelchair, if you can get 200 feet with a surf rod, you're doing really good.
I was going to say, if you get 250 feet out of a wheelchair, you're doing good with a surf rod.
Yeah. I can usually cast about 150, 200 feet, depending on if the wind's behind me or not and how big the bait is. If you use a big enough bait, it's going to just cut drag anyway. So
yeah, mainly if you have a big weight, it'll do it. But the bait is always what cuts the drag. So
yeah, and 90% of the time, since I live in South Central Kansas, it's like most places, the channel cat outnumber all the other species besides bullhead. But channel cat here, I probably catch 200 channel cat to every blue, and I probably catch 500 channel cat to every flathead. And my biggest flathead in the last year, 2 years, probably last 2 years, 2.5 years, my biggest flathead's only 7 inches long.
You be safe, Muskrat. So what is your PB flathead?
My PB flathead is 68 pounds, but I was 13 years old and I lived at Possum Kingdom Lake, Texas.
Hello, Crappy Day Fish On. So what is your PB blue?
My PB blue is it's in the 20s, but I can't remember. It's been way too long. But my PB catfish, my PB channel cat, is 36 pounds. And that's like really close to our state record.
Wow. Welcome in, Judy May Collins.
And the bad thing is I don't have a picture of that. And that was only like 6 or 7 years ago. But, when you get new phones back then, you couldn't get data sometimes transferred over. You couldn't get pictures. I've lost so many pictures of the day I wished I had.
Yeah.
But now that I got these 2 Uncle Lou's rods sitting here, right here, I gotta start over, in my opinion, because my biggest catfish as an adult is probably, the 36-pound channel. Other than that, my biggest blue cat's probably 12, 15 pounds.
Solo says you were pretty close to me, DHA, when you were at Possum Kingdom.
Yeah, that was a good lake back in the 70s and 80s when I lived there.
Now, here's a question. Out of all your rods, which ones are your favorites that you use mostly?
That I use the most are my 2 Daiwas. I have a medium action and then a medium light. Those are the ones that I was using in the tournament yesterday, and then my bass rod. But I do a lot of ditch pickle fishing too. So
yeah, Muskrat. He's in Kansas, and he does fish a lot of channel cats and blues and flatheads. So I thought you were going to say your Uncle Lou's rods.
Do what?
I thought you were going to say your Uncle Lou rods.
Yeah, well, that's my new favorites. But I have those are my favorites, but those are not the ones I use the most.
Okay.
So yeah, I even went and somebody had a video up not too long ago about cleaning reels and stuff, and I can't remember. I think it was on Catfish and Crappie, or is on. I don't even remember who had it on, but somebody had Cleaning Reels on.
Oh, that
So-
was Catfish Weekly with
It was Catfish Weekly with Lyle, wasn't it?
yeah, that's Lyle and Josh as doing the
Yeah.
cleaning of the reels.
Well, I watched that, and while I was watching that, I went into my drawer and I got out my old Abu that is a 6500 C3, but it's like, I don't even remember when I got it, but it's been 20 some years ago. And there you go. So that's one of the old C3s from back in the day.
Yeah, that's the old Abu Garcia from Made in Switzerland, isn't it?
Yeah. But I went through it and I cleaned it all up and re-greased it. And the only thing is this has one of the clutches. The clutch that's in this is the one that has the two pins coming off with those two little white plastic roller things
Right.
on it. So I need to get a new one of those. This one works fine, but you got to tighten the drag down too much. This was the one that I caught that was the rod and reel I caught the catfish on at Sterling, that I was in my video where I was screaming, pull that drag, and then it was hurting my back. So I made Gregory run down and get it.
Right. Robin C wants to know, how come you didn't use your Uncle Lou rods yesterday?
How come? Well, I probably should have, but I figured since we were going for the itty bitties where I was at, those itty bitties, they do this with my medium light. So, on the Uncle Lou's, being that they're a medium light, I might have seen it, but it was kind of overkill.
Cody Robinson said that Abu C3 that's made in Sweden are the best reels you can get.
Yeah. And I wish I could remember when I bought that. I know it was, I had kids, but I think they were all in diapers. So, 20, 25 years ago. Somebody out there probably knows exactly when that model came out.
Yeah, I remember when those models came out. I'm old enough to. Even though I may not look it, I'm old enough to.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I'm gonna let my dog in real quick. She's jumping on the door.
no problem.
No, Rosie, come here.
Chase the puppy. Robin, how's Dusty doing? Dusty!
Get in the house. You just want to get in the fish and stuff.
Dusty.
Sorry, guys. She went for a walk.
Oh, she was excited.
Yeah, I think she could hear us be talking to somebody, and I think she just wanted to go out there because she went out to the garage door. She stood there and she kind of looked that way, and she looked that way down the alley, and then she came back in after she ran around the Jeep.
Yeah, she's looking for the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
That's typical for puppies. So, would you prefer bank fishing or kayak fishing?
I prefer to kayak fish, but this last year I've gained, probably 25 pounds or so, and I was having issues with my kayak. So what I did was I put pool noodles and expanded foam in my kayak, because my kayak, when I'd get in it, it'd be fine. Then 30 minutes to 45 minutes later, I'd have 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water inside the kayak above the deck.
Right.
So the kayak was squeezing down in the heat or something and losing its buoyancy. And even where my seat sat, the seat would sag down. And I think it's just because I'm fat enough, I was making it sag down. But I filled it with that foam, and now problem solved because I went out for 2 hours on my pond, and I never got any water in it.
Now, is
But I got 2 rod holders that I put on my kayak out each side. So, because in Kansas you can only have 2 rods.
right?
So I have 1 rod out each side, and now it'll be the Uncle Lou's out each side when I'm catfishing. And then I'll those are usually straight down, and then I'll have one in the stock like rod carrier that is molded
Right.
in the kayak. I'll have one of those back drifting with a 5-ounce weight behind me, and just dragging it across the bottom because it also helps slow me. And because I get a 3rd pull permit, so in Kansas, you can only have 2, but if you buy the 3rd pull permit, you can have 3.
So, how often do you anchor down, or do you do a lot of drifting?
I mostly drift for the catfish. It just seems like, I don't know. It seems like I have more bites when I'm drifting, or I'll just paddle slow and kind of troll. I think it's because our lakes and well, I should say we don't have lakes, we have reservoirs, but our reservoirs are pretty small in my area. So like the lake I was fishing yesterday was only 50 some acres. And then my local lake is 155 acres. It's Kingman Lake. And so it does, I mean, if you troll or drift across it, you're across it in 20 minutes. And then, you got to paddle back. And so I just kind of more troll than anything.
Right. Have you ever tried bottom bouncing from a kayak?
Yes. And I make, I had a piece of pipe. Oh, let me get this piece of pipe and I'll show you what I do.
Hello, Jesse Outdoors Addiction. Welcome.
Okay. What I do is I get this PEX pipe. You can see this PEX pipe here.
Yeah.
And I will shove a swivel in one end of it, a big swivel, to where the clip will hang out. And then I'll fill this with buckshot. And then I'll pour lead in the end of it just to make a plug. And then so I can cut, like maybe I want one that long, or I want one that long, or I want one that's, like that long. And I use those as my bottom bouncers, kind of like my drag weights.
Nice.
Because I'm too cheap to buy drag weights.
Hello, Nick Hoagland Fishing. Welcome. That's a new name.
I think a lot of it is if you, I don't want to say if you grow up poor, but if you grow up where you don't have a lot, you make what you got work. And that's kind of where I was in life. I've always had to just make things work because I didn't ever have much.
Well, being an old school fisherman like me and you, we learned that through fishing, you make things work for you, and you find things, and you can create things to get them to work.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the whole rod holder thing that I'm wanting to do. I've seen a lot of rod holders out there, even some of the guys that is friends and maybe even be in chat. There's a few guys on here that have made videos of rod holders or even make and sell rod holders. So I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but I want to make something that works for me. So maybe it'll work for somebody else. And, if somebody else's rod holder works better for them, then, they need to use that. It shouldn't be mine's better than yours. It should be, hey, mine doesn't work for you. Go try this guy.
Right. Welcome in Dead Sea Pirates. Fishing Local 252. So, Texan.
And see, one other thing that I wanted to show you, Avid, was on my kayak, my son went to Milford Lake. Most people kind of know about Milford Lake in Kansas. It's like our big Blue Cat Lake.
Right.
And you can go up there and you can catch 50, 80 pounders, whenever you want it. If you have the right equipment, with the sight. I know a lot of guys are against sight sonar and stuff, and I kind of am. I like the idea of sight sonar more for finding bait. I don't know. I'm mixed about it. For one thing, I can't afford it. It's $600 for a cheap one. It just is the cost value there. I think, when you get into, the gray hair age, you have been around long enough that you kind of know what to look for, even if you don't have that depth finder or that sonar and stuff like that. So
yeah, but you're more like me with old school. You learned how to read the waters from being drunk.
Well, and see, even like I had one guy I took fishing on the he had his own kayak, and we went out on kayaks together, and I was like, you see how the wind's coming across the lake, and then there's like that the waves stop just a little bit, they like die down. I said, there's a sandbar right there. When we get up to it, you'll notice that the water changes colors. I said, do you want to fish on the edge of that sandbar? And then, and kind of show, and we anchored off with the kayaks. We got like little 3-5 pound anchors. We anchored off and we fished for 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, he caught 4 fish. So, it's just, I think it's a whole thing where, even a lot of these guys, even they get that side sonar or they get some fancy, bottom reader stuff, and they forget how to look for, other signs and things like that, because they just rely too much on their electronics.
Right.
Now, if I could afford them, I probably would have a different opinion, but, I just don't have much. Hey, look, she's alive. Are you feeling better?
Before they had a chance to do anything, the Chiefs made the first touchdown.
Oh, yeah? Woohoo!
That fast.
Hello, Miss Robin. Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. Naomi,
What?
come here. They said something.
Naomi.
Yeah, this is Naomi.
Hello.
This is my wife.
Glad you're feeling better. Glad to see you're up and about.
Did you hear him?
What?
He said, glad that you're feeling better.
Yes.
And glad you're up and about.
I'm able to get up and around.
She wears a hearing aid. If you can't tell that was loud, she talks. And
That's
it ain't
quite
in
all
right now. What?
That's quite all right.
I'm deaf now. All right, dear. Bye-bye. She's going to go back to bed. But what I was saying was at Milford Lake, my son broke this ugly stick. It's this ugly stick right here, the Shakespeare ugly stick. This is
an ugly stick.
It's just a medium action 7 foot, and he broke the end of it. So what I did was I used it to mount this thing that you put on your side to carry your phone. And that's what I do is I stick this in the rod holder that's molded in the kayak. So this sits over my shoulder like this and do my videos.
That's cool. I'd like to welcome in Michael Murillo.
That gets back to that whole I'm cheap, so I use what I got.
Team Snagging Whiskers.
Hey, everybody in chat. I wish I could see it all, but I can't.
I'm doing my best to keep up with it.
I know I have such a hard time when I do lives trying to keep up with chat. The other day, I couldn't. The other day on my live, I was trying to make people mods or moderators or whatever it's called. And when I click on their name, it only gives me 2 choices, either to kick them out or,
Right. You have to go through, you have to have a second device to open up in your chat through YouTube and make them mods that way.
Oh, so when I was watching on my phone, I was doing the live on my laptop.
Right.
Because I thought that's how you had to do it.
But if you have live.
So when I was watching on my phone, I could have done it on my phone.
Yeah, but you open a second window on your laptop, mute it, and go into your live and make mods that way.
Oh, well, you're going to have to give me some lessons, Avin, because I still ain't figured out how to do the giveaway thing, that whole hashtag like you did with the little itty bitty kitty.
You don't have to use hashtags, but you can just put a name in there. but you can't be no spaces between the words on the
Well, I
giveaway.
couldn't even figure out how to bring up the tool. to do it.
Hey, I will walk you through it. I'll do a video of it with you sometime and
Yeah.
walk you through it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, we got Jose Catfishing. Long time no see, bud. How's my number one fan doing? If anybody has any questions in here for DHA, please put them in chat.
See, this is my newest reel. I got this reel last year for Christmas.
Nice. Which one is that? Another Abu?
Yeah, it's another Abu, and this one's the Catfish Special, the Ambassador Catfish Special. It's the C3 7000.
Nice.
So, and when I went to the store and found out how much they paid for it, I yelled at them.
What? What did they pay for it?
They're like $150 or $170.
I paid more than that for my pin reels.
Yeah.
And those
Well,
are-
they didn't need to spend that kind of money on me. That's what I was getting at. I'd have been happy with, I'd have been happy with the Shakespeare, maybe. I don't know. I like the Abbeys. I'm a real big fan of the Abbeys.
Jay's Catfishing is asking you, what are your go-to baits?
My go-to baits. Well, like I said before, since I mostly fish for channel cat, my go-to is shad when I can get it. And we all know that story. And then I really love red wigglers because you don't have to keep them in a cooler. You can just keep them in the shade and they'll last, for days.
Hello, fishing stuff with J&J.
And I do not use stink baits or any of that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people like it. But to me, I catch more fish on worms than I did ever stink bait.
I catch a lot of channel cats on cut bluegill.
Yeah. I'll
Bluegill
fillet the
cut,
bluegill out when I'm fishing, and I'll use the fillets.
Robin wants to know, DHA, how's your back doing?
It hurts like heck.
So you're sorted.
Yesterday, all that bending over and trying to pick up them rods and then getting in and out of the truck. Oh, well, Gregory left all his tackle box there.
Yeah.
So, but then we went to Walmart after the tournament. We stopped at Walmart there in Pratt, and he bought a game card. The game card, we got all the way home. The game card didn't work. So we went all the way back, and then we went to go check, and it was gone. So we were going to, it was too dark. So we were going to go back this morning during the light. And this is when he was all crying, Dad, you said you're going to take me back when it was light and all that. And I was like, well, it's probably gone by now. And then he was like, Dad, you lied to me. And I was like, Gregory, I'm sorry, bud, but it's not worth the 35-mile drive one way back over there. I was like, you've left that out before. It's gotten rained on. Them spinners are, you just need to start over. So I let him go through all my stuff, and he probably found 30 spinners and some Castmasters and some little Cleos in my stuff, and I just let him take it.
Yeah.
So he just needs to start over. It happens. Sometimes you leave gear, and the worst thing I've ever left was a fishing pole. I left it in the water, still going. I just I gathered everything out, and like most people, you leave the rods till the end.
Right.
And for some reason, I drove off and left the rod. It was a late night, and the next day I realized that I left the rod, but by the time I got back, it was gone for sure. So
that happens to the best of us.
Yeah, well, now Gregory's learned his lesson, and maybe, since he didn't get it back this time, maybe he'll remember to grab it. And I just said, hey, I know it's hard, and with Gregory, he's 25 years old, but he's like 10
right
in his mind, and it just really killed him. And it's so heartbroken. I don't know how to fix it.
Well, you did the first step by letting them have some of your lures and stuff to fix it.
Yeah. And then I got online and I ordered I think I ordered 12 little South Bend Panther Martin knockoffs, you know.
You're right. Indiana Chris wants to know: do you have some fish to eat, or do you just catch and release?
Mostly I eat crappie. We here in Kansas, we have a lot of mussels, and we have an overabundance of birds because we're like the central fly through for a lot of migrating birds.
Right.
I won't eat the channel catfish usually unless I catch them out of like Cheney or Milford, some big body that's like 3,000 to 5,000, you know, maybe 8,000 acres,
Right.
because that water is usually clean enough. But all of our small lakes like Kingman or Pratt, where I was at yesterday, they get so many parasites in the meat. I ain't eating it. I don't care if they say you can. It ain't happening. I ain't doing it. So I pretty much eat bluegill and crappie.
All right. Someone wants to know, DHA, why did you leave Texas, especially from like PK, and do you have any property there?
No, and I left when I was 14 years old, almost 15, because my dad said we're moving to Kansas, get in the truck. So kind of had no choice.
Hello, Chrissy Brown.
But I would love to go back. My family all lives there. My grandma just passed last year. I got 3 aunts that live down there and an uncle. So, you know, I haven't seen any of that family, and I mean, pretty much since I've been in the wheelchair, except for, I think, for my grandma's funeral, because it was here in Kansas was the funeral. So I seen them then, and I've seen them a couple other times, just, you know, for an hour maybe at a time. So I pretty much the only family I've got is my mother that lives in my old farmhouse where I lived at when I broke my back, and then my mother-in-law, and that's all I got left. My dad's in a nursing home now, so he just went to a nursing home right before Christmas. He had a stroke, so it's just me, Naomi, and the boys, and my mom and her mom. That's all that's left. So I'll tell you what, fishing with you guys online, I don't mean to get sappy, but this is like the best thing that, you know, has come into my life for a while. I know that kind of sounds corny, but when Lyle invited me on Panfish Nation, he invited me a few weeks before I came on, and that whole time I was apprehensive about going on. I didn't know if I needed, you know, I wanted to, or I didn't think I was really any good, you know, that kind of thing. I didn't think people would want to watch me. But I keep getting encouragement from my wife and my mother and my mother-in-law, and they just kept saying do it, and so I just kept doing it. And then when Lyle got me on there, I don't even think I had 300 subscribers, and now, you know, look at it, it's 520 something the last I knew. So I just appreciate each and everybody out there. And
you're in the Catfish family now, and you got a family that will help you and take care of you. If you have questions, you can reach out to any of us, and we can help you out.
I love it. I love fishing lives with you guys. It just, I mean, once I got into that, and it's like fishing with 20 to 50 of your buddies, and if you're lucky enough to have that many people watch you live. But
yesterday we had up to 83 people at one time watching.
Yeah, and see, it's great because you're fishing with everybody. It's just like they're there with you, but nobody's crossing your line. Nope. Nobody's stealing your bait, you know, and nobody's taking that big fish or, you know, whatever you're into. So
exactly,
you know, you get to razz each other, and you know, sometimes people get upset, but that's just life.
Oh, that's life. Some people like having their heart on their sleeve.
Can you see my shirt that I'm wearing today? It says, "How can I offend you today?"
Yeah, I used to have one like that.
That's kind of my attitude in life anymore.
Robin C has a question for you.
Yeah.
What canoe do you use? If you could have any canoe you want, which one would you get?
As far as a canoe,
yes.
The Ascend canoe. I think that was one. I think that was the one I've seen a canoe that I would like to get. But the last canoe I was in, I was 16 years old. But a kayak, my kayak is in the sand. But I don't know if I'd even be able to get into a canoe now that I'm in a wheelchair. I don't know if I could get up over the edge without flipping it.
True.
Yeah, here I'll give everybody a glimpse of my kayak. Here's my kayak. So just basic, simple. You know, rod holder on that side, rod holder on this side. It does have the cheap chair that comes with it, which I'm planning on upgrading. Then, but I do have a new addition to that. If everybody would like to see my new addition to my kayak, there's my new addition to my kayak, a double hook angling sticker.
Yeah, Murillo, I do agree with that. Murillo says it isn't about subscribers. It isn't about how long you've been around. It isn't about anything other than having a good time.
Exactly.
Fishing or talking about fishing.
Yeah, and now that I'm at my 500, I'm good. I just wanted my community tab so I can share out everybody and help everybody. If I get to 1,000, that'll be fine and dandy too. But if I don't, then I don't care. I just wanted to get to that 500 so I can help share everybody else's channel. We can communicate, just do your thing.
Right.
It's all about promoting everybody else and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Crabby says, DHA, I've seen this as a loving, welcoming family.
Yeah, I haven't had no issues. I think everybody in this community is pretty much figured out, just by everybody coming in who belongs. And if you're somebody that comes in and causes problems, I think there's enough mods in here just to kick you out that you just stay away.
I've got mods that I don't have to worry about them. If someone comes in here and starts kicking problems, they know what to do.
Yeah.
Hello, hey, Slip. Now, we were talking before the show. You were in school and you wrote a 5-page paper.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell these people in chat what this paper was about and what gave you the heart? What was the reason behind it that you wrote this paper?
Okay. Well, first off, the teacher said, hey, write an essay on something that you love, something that you're familiar with, and something that you can do. And it was freshman year, and so 9th grade. And the only thing I could think of writing about was catfishing, because that's all I did at the time. Because even we lived at the lake for a couple of years, and then when we moved into town, which would be Mineral Wells down there, the Brazos River was 4 miles away. So any 10 to 14-year-old could ride that far on a bike. And that's what we did. We'd go down to the river. We'd leave Friday after school, me and 2 of my buddies, and we'd pack our backpacks with some canned food, usually like, beans or, some tuna or something like that, a couple packages of hot dogs, and off to the river we'd go. And we just have fun. That's what got me into it, was just, hanging with your buddies at the river. And we were wild boys, so we had little bonfires. And, back then it wasn't like it was now. You're talking 79 through 86 or 85, I think, something like that. So different times. I don't think nowadays I think nowadays if 13-year-old and 12-year-old boys took off to the river and stayed the whole weekend by themselves, somebody would probably have a cow.
Oh, I'm sure the parents should have a cow nowadays.
Yeah. But that's what got me into it. It was just hanging with my buddies at the river. Then when I moved to Kansas, we moved to Haven, Kansas, and it's by the Arkansas River. Here in Kansas, we call it the Arkansas River. I'd ride my bike 3 miles north to the Arkansas River and go fishing. And caught catfish and mostly channel cat and mostly stuff like what we caught yesterday and today with the other guys today. And that's just kind of where it all came from. But I fish for everything. You know, I fish for catfish, bluegill, carp. I mean, I got a big old carp right here. And it's kind of hard to see because my tattoos are so dark, but I love fishing for carp. I love fishing for catfish, bluegill. There's times where I'll go out with size 24 hooks that you got to use 2-pound tippet because they can't get nothing else to tie on it.
Right.
But after you do that with the 2-pound line, you get you, and I'm talking a 24 hook is literally like a 1/4 inch long or less.
Yeah, that's a trout hook.
Yeah. And I would go fishing for chubs and stuff like that in the river and catch 2 to 5 inch chubs to use to catfish. And by catching all that small bait, you know, that's what got me into fishing for the bigger stuff was, you know, little things lead to bigger things. And then when you want to catch big things, well, how are you going to go catch catfish? If you tell me that you fish for catfish and nothing but catfish, then you're either netting your bait or you're buying bait.
Yeah, they're buying bait because they're not netting it.
Yeah. And me, myself, I wouldn't pay. You can't buy bait in Kansas unless you go to a bait shop.
Right.
You know, there's people that go to try and they'll catch shad. And we've got gizzard shad here that most of them are 12 inches, 14 inches, but we'll get some that are 20, 21 inches. And these guys will go and they'll catch those and they'll try to sell them. And then they get caught and they go to jail. And this whole, I want to cheat while I'm fishing. And, you know, it ain't my thing. And I just don't care for it.
Right. We got Ernie Brown that came in. We have Florida Fishing Guru, Indiana Chris.
Hi, everybody in chat.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
we
can't
have
see you guys say hi, but hi to everybody.
We have the turtle lady in here as well. So, I can see your passion in your fishing yesterday.
Yeah, I love to fish. I mean, I think the last count we were at like 80 some fishing poles. And, you know, most of them are garage sale finds and things like that. We use a lot of them, but, you know, you've got those. For me, I got 5 main rods that I use. So
I have a storage shed outside that's 7x7x7 that's filled with fishing gear, tackle boxes, coolers, and camping gear.
Yeah,
I can't even walk in it anymore.
That whole corner back there, if you look, there's rods all the way up the wall.
Uh-huh.
Well, if I can put my hand all the way up there, there's rods, and then there's just rods standing back there everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So behind the old Rambler,
I have my 7x7 is filled. I have to go in there every so often and get rid of some old broken down stuff just so I have a walkway in there.
Yeah.
I got rods all the way back in there from maybe the 60s, the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah. I still have my Zepco 33 reel, but I don't have the rod. But I still have my Zepco 33 reel from when I lived in Texas when I was a kid.
Hello and welcome, Brian B. Catfishing, Grim Reaper.
But I have my granddad's cane pole that he got in, I think it was 1941 is when he got it. And I have it now, and it's above when I do my lives and do my jig tying, and you see the double hook banner behind me and stuff on the wall. Above that, it says artificials only on a wooden sign, and then my granddad's cane pole is on top of that. And there's a bobber on there that he made too. He made the bobber. It's a stick bobber with the float in the middle.
Yeah, Robin C says, Dave, I used my Zepco 33 yesterday.
Yeah, I heard her say that. And it was the one that she had when she was a girl too, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's,
yesterday with that little bit of wind that we had, it was so hard for me to hear.
yeah, but it's just sometimes it's good to have earbuds so you can hear chat.
Yeah,
You're getting to know into this, so you're also learning that when you do tournaments, you have to have a good battery backup for your phone with the good charging cables and
yeah.
probably earbuds. To
Yesterday I took two batteries. I took a 10,000 milliamp one, and then I took a 7,000 milliamp one, just because I didn't know if they were going to work, because neither one of them had been charged for over a year.
Well, found out they worked, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they worked just fine. When I left there, I think I had 71% after the live on my battery on my phone. But I just left the one. I plugged the one in, and then I kept having issues. That's why everybody kept seeing me reach up messing with the cord.
Right.
It kept wanting to charge and then uncharge and then charge and then uncharge. So I just swapped out, and the other one worked fine for the rest of the day. So,
Oh yeah.
but on my phone, I have a Samsung S21 Galaxy Ultra. So with my phone, I can usually do about 3.5 hours of live just on the battery phone, or just on the phone's battery.
That's good.
But when I get into where it's like, if it's wanting to stay on 4G, then it seems like it wants to eat it up in about 2.5 hours.
Well,
But when it's on 5G, it doesn't. It's 3.5 hours or so.
right. Normally, if your phone's on 5G, it will cruise to the power a lot quicker than the 4G will.
Yeah. Well, I've had the opposite experience. The 4G runs me dead in 2.5 hours or so. But there's like, the problem with me is, here in Kansas, if I want to go fishing, I got to either go 7 miles, 22 miles, or 35 miles. And this is all different directions. And I may have service at one place, but then I move 10 feet over and I don't have service.
Oh, I understand that.
So
I know that effect on the Mississippi. I know that effect on the Ohio, the Illinois,
yeah.
the Kaskaskia, quite a few lakes around here. I got lakes and rivers all around me. I can go in any direction I want. And
well, it won't be a few years, and everybody will have internet no matter where you're at with the new satellites that are going up.
Yeah.
T-Mobile is who I have, because that's what works best for me in my hometown. I've tried Verizon, I've tried AT&T, and everything else. Nothing works here in my town very well except for T-Mobile. But I also don't leave my state, so I mean, it works great for me. But T-Mobile's the one that's putting all the satellites. Bye, Gregory. T-Mobile is the one that's putting up all the satellites that will have the internet. Your cell phone signal won't be from a tower; it'll be from a satellite straight up 5 miles.
Yeah.
That way, you won't be blocked by any hills or mountains or dead zones or anything like that.
Yeah, Robin C says, when my tripod was knocked over by the wind yesterday, man down came out of my mouth instead of the 4-letter word.
Did it break her tripod?
No, the wind just knocked it over.
Oh, well, when a few weeks back, when the wind knocked my tripod off my truck, I just got a little short one. It knocked my phone and tripod off. It broke mine. I mean, it broke the plastic clear in half. And
yeah,
I went and got some. I used to have some stuff back in the day that we'd fix plastic parts for, like switches and stuff for cars and things. It's called Q-Bond. It's a powder that you put on it, and then you drop the glue on it, and then it sets solid. That I did that to my tripod, and now it's fixed. So it's been holding up pretty good yesterday and today. So
that's good.
I don't know how long, but that stuff's pretty solid. So I've heard some guys before say use JB Weld, the plastic weld and stuff like that, but I don't know. Q-Bond worked for me.
Robin says she broke its fall both times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She broke her phone?
No, she broke the phone's fall.
Oh. She
kept
caught
on-
it. Yeah, I got
she
you.
caught it.
Yeah, I broke my phone a couple months ago, and I was so upset because I couldn't, like, I broke it right in the middle of the phone. Like, so here's the phone. Well, my dirty paws. I've been painting my son's Jeep all day. The dirty paws is my phone. Okay, so like right here is where it broke on my phone. So like the top half of the screen you couldn't touch. It wouldn't work when you touched it. So you had to turn it this way to touch the keys here, and then turn it back like this to touch the keys on the other side to get to anything to type. So I'm sitting here going like da 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 da. And finally, I broke down and went and got a new phone.
Right. So, I forgot what it is you're gonna ask.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare everybody with my hair.
Please don't show us your bald head. Oh no, you.
Yeah,
you're good.
see,
Hey,
I'm getting there.
no. If you
What do
wanna
they call
see
that? They call that a widow's peak. Is that what they call that?
if you want to see bald, go over to Field and Waters to look at Chad's bald head. He'll blind you with the hat off.
Yeah. Yeah, I told my wife I'm just going to let it grow out. And then I seen the other day. See, normally when I see you, it's kind of like you're like at a certain shot, so you could tell you got a little bit long hair. But yesterday, I really noticed how long your hair actually was, and I told Naomi, I was like, "Well, I just let my hair grow like Avid's," and she was like, "No." So now, guess what? Let's see how long my hair gets before I wake up with it all chopped off.
Yeah, if it gets this long, you should probably cut it.
Yeah. Well, she likes the beard. You know, I mean, it's not too long, but
Oh, she don't want your beard like mine.
no, I've had my beard down, you know, probably 3 inches longer than what it is now, and she doesn't mind it. But for some reason, she don't like my long hair. I think it's because my hair's so curly. When it gets long, it just, I mean, it almost look like, well, here, we yesterday I seen a video of Serena, and she was doing her hair, and they stuck Laughing Cat made her sit in front of the camera,
Right.
and so when her hair is all done and where it's all pretty, and you know, but you see those golden curls that she's got on the back, yeah, that's what my hair looks like.
Yeah, we all the amazing mods that we had in here yesterday and today. They do good with helping with chat. I don't have to worry about my chat or who comes in and tries to cause problems because I know they'll take care of them. I don't have to worry about that. And
But yeah, I love to river fish. The problem is the only place I got here to river fish is like our little park and stuff. And, you know, with water 3 inches deep and 10 foot wide, it's like, I mean, we're going to have itty bitty kitty tournament again. But I did also, Avid, I haven't been on a boat in, besides my kayak, I haven't been on a boat in 9 years since my wheelchair. And last week, a buddy of mine got his boat from his brother. His brother passed, so it's kind of a bad way to get a boat. But it's just an old, decrepit pontoon boat that's been redecked, and it's just a fishing boat, so it's nothing fancy. But he took me out, and we went and we were out probably 4 hours. We took Naomi, and we took his wife, and we took Gregory, and we had a blast. The only thing I can't get used to is that rocking again. In the wheelchair, I want to sit there and move. Even with my brakes locked on the wheelchair, I was moving. And you get where I'm going, I was kind of getting a little seasick. So I don't know what the deal was.
Hello, Grill Bagre.
But I know a lot of people on here have pontoon boats. So
Oh, you got Pontoon Jody, you got Palmetto Cats, you have Muskrat used to have a pontoon boat. I'm trying to
yeah,
remember.
I'm gonna hard Gregory real quick. Hey Gregory, come and get Brody to park in the cat. Say hi to everybody, Gregory. Oh, I tried to get him to say hi. The dogs found it. Something in the backyard they won't stop barking at, so I had to go get him in. Sorry, Avid.
I know you're a big diehard fisherman. But
Do
for the
what?
car nuts in chat, oh hello KY Redneck. For the car nuts in chat, would you show them the car that you're working on rebuilding?
Oh, yeah.
For the car nuts in chat.
It's a 1964 Rambler Classic. And it had big old holes in the fenders. It had big holes in the fenders. Well, now it's got some 2004 Chevy steel in it. And I have, so now I'm at this stage. There used to be a hole that was right here. It was about that big. But it's kind of in a tattered state, as far as it's in the middle of body work. I don't know. I'll try to get up there enough for you to see. But there's the engine.
Nice engine. What is it?
It's it's the V8 that was originally in it.
Oh, nice.
It's a 287, but it is what was hold on a minute, get back to my chair. Okay. I had to get back all the way back onto my. Ooh, I just spilt lead everywhere. Watch it. There's hot lead right there. It's been a 6-year project for all you car nuts. So you guys know how car projects go.
Oh yeah.
But it runs, it drives, it's been, but we've done everything that we needed to. The good thing is that engine was what was in the Hudson Hornet. So if everybody knows what the Hudson Hornet is,
yeah, I remember that.
This was the V8 that was in the Hudson Hornet in the last few years that the Hudson Hornet was around. But in that car, it was a 250 straight six, so 3.5 inch bore. This is the 3 3/4 bore, which is the 287.
Right.
And then the 4-inch bore would have been the 327. And the 287 is a AMC motor. It is not the Ford 287, completely different engine, just same cubic inch displacement, the same with the 327. It's all this engine in the first gen Ramblers.
And that's a beast of an engine.
Yeah, they were only like 200 horse, but they're like 275 foot-pound. So, nothing fancy, but for a car that only weighed 2,600 pounds, it would get right down the road.
Oh, yeah. That was a light body for that big of engine.
Yeah. I let Timmy drive it a few times in high school, my youngest boy. He's an EMT here in town, and so he's a good kid. But when he was in high school, he was like most of us boys. You want to get that throttle going a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He come out of the park one day down here. He hit the gas a little hard, and since she has a limited lock in the back, it got both tires got to spinning, and he turned it sideways, facing the side of the bridge, and he got a little bit scared. And I was in the passenger seat, and I was even more scared. And I was holding on. I was like, Timmy. He's like, sorry, Dad, sorry. I was like, just back up a little bit and then go. So he backed up, and then when he put it into drive, he just floored it, and off we went back up Main Street. So we was being a little bit of a terror, but we just got it running. I've only put 90 miles on it since I bought it, and I've had it 6 years now, and it's been like this.
How many times has he lit up the tires on that car?
Do what?
How many times has he smoked the tires on that car?
The old set was down to the cord, and when I bought in 90 miles, he took them from new tires to cord between him and me. But now it's got a new set on it. But those were the stock tires size, so they were like 215 70 14s. Well, now we've got some 245 70 or no 245 60 14s. So a little bit wider tire, a little bit better grip.
Hello, Fluff and stuff. All right,
But it's been a fun project. It's like all my projects, you know. You got to keep busy or you go insane.
right.
And you know, like I said, I was kind of starting to go insane until I found this, you know, catfish community, the Panfish Nation, Catfish and Crappie, Jody, J Dog. I mean, everybody, all the guys that are always in most of the chats that we all watch.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's just like, and nobody's mean to you, you know. The worst thing that's ever happened to me, and this might make a few people mad and wish they would have been there to help me, but I was fishing on a dock. A guy come down on the dock and told me that I should not be fishing on the dock. He threw all my fishing stuff in the water, and he pushed me and my wheelchair in the water. There wasn't nothing I could do. It happened so fast. And I was by myself. This was before I took Gregory with me. I had a minivan, so I just took myself. And that right there is the reason why I started taking Gregory. And most of the time, I'm actually carrying a sidearm now just because, I mean, I can't get up and fight nobody, but if I could get my hands on you.
There's a lot of us in chat wishes we were there when that happened because we'd have beat the daylights out of them.
Yeah, well, it was a good thing the water was only about 4 foot deep.
That's still,
you know, but
that's still
it was me for the next 30 minutes trying to get my wheelchair off the bottom of that, dragging it back up the side of that dock. Good thing it wasn't, you know, like I said, it wasn't very deep, and there was a boat ramp right next to it. So I just swam, you know, because I can float like nothing. I just swam and grabbed it. I ended up getting back up into my van. I drove back to town. I got another fishing pole and a big treble hook, and I went back and got my stuff. So that was the worst experience I've ever had as far as fishing.
A lot of us would love to have been on that dock when that guy came up to you.
Yeah, well,
we'd have defended you real quick for that one.
Yeah, if it was to happen these days, it wouldn't happen. I'm not saying I'd, you know, hurt nobody, but no, I can't. I mean, I live in a stand your ground state, so I can't go nowhere.
I'm just saying, but if you can't stand your ground, someone else can stand your ground for you.
Yeah. Well, what I mean, but you know what I mean by that with a firearm and everything.
No, I understand.
So I would. That would kill me ever having to use it, but.
So it says DHA, that person will have championship for that one day. God has your back.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it.
I look at it that way too, but seeing someone in a wheelchair and throwing all their gear and them in the water, no.
Yeah,
you don't do that.
And the thing is that kid. I mean, and I'm saying kid because this guy was early 20s. And he was a bass fisherman, and he was just so mad that I just was, you know, I was there. I was ruining he was yelling at me from the time I drove up, and I was kind of running my mouth telling him just to shut up and go fishing. I said, you're bass fishing. Walk on. Do your thing. He just walked onto the dock, and I thought he was going to just, you know, say something to me, but, you know, kicked my stuff in and pushed me.
That just shows no respect.
No. And if I ever see him again, it'll be a different story too. I still got the guy's image in my, I mean, I can, if I seen him, I'd probably well, I don't know. I'd probably recognize him, but I mean, I don't know if I'd overplay it in my head thinking, but enough about that. I have caught a 3-pound bullhead on my Uncle Lou's. And then I caught a 9-pound channel and 11-pound channel up at Sterling.
Yeah.
That one doesn't look like it. I mean, even I, like, after I weighed it and stuff, because I weighed it with the same scale that I used for yesterday, and it said 11. Right on the money, 11 pounds for that catfish. But it's the one that I'm holding up in my video like this. Right. I guess the way I'm holding it and stuff, it doesn't look that big, but it's big as my arm, and I got 15-inch arms, so
Oh, I understand that. So I do agree with you. I'm a believer as well. I would lay hands on him and prayed for him afterwards. That's all I'm going to say
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah. It's all good. Sometimes people are jerks and you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, sometimes they need a quick
Yeah.
attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
So, what kind of rigs do you use on your lines?
Oh, yeah. Let me show you. Since we don't, I mean, if I was fishing at like Milford or something, I'd be using swivels and, tying off, good Palomars or something other kind of, real fancy knot. But with everything I'm going to catch probably being under that 20-pound mark, this is my simple rig setup. I just have the line. I don't know how well you can see this, but I just have the line. And then I have a knot with a loop and the hook just attached to the end where I just slide it through. And that has worked for me for years. Even back in the day when I caught that big flathead down in Texas, this was basically the same rig, but and then I dropped down. Whoops, I can't see. But then I use a bank weight that's tied to off where that hook is. I don't know how well you guys can see that.
Yeah, we see
So
it.
basically, it's just a drop shot.
Yeah, you're doing a Kentucky rig there.
Is that what that's called? Is a Kentucky
Yeah.
rig?
You got a Kentucky rig on that one.
Yeah. But when I do this loop, all I do is I just take this line and I'll just tie another one right here up. It'll just make this have two on it and get where you guys can see me. But I just make a loop. I'll take the line and I'll make a loop. And then I just tie it like a regular knot. And I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I pull that where I want it and get my tag. That knot, I don't know, if it would hold up on a 50, 60, 80, 100 pounder, but that knot is held up against everything that I've ever put it to.
So
And I like that drop shot because, you give them that extra 18 inches or so to run before they feel that weight. And then at that point, they get kind of spooked and just take off, I guess, because with a circle hook, you don't have to really do much but start reeling. But that's like my number one rig. That's the rig I was using yesterday. I just use it because it's simple to tie. It's quick. And when you go to leave, I just wind the weight, kind of spin the weight up there and run it back through, and on I go home. I go.
Wow, I just seen the dark side come out of Chrissy Brown.
Do what? What'd she say?
I'd have knocked him in the head with my oxygen tank.
What, me?
No, the kid that pushed you in your gear
Oh.
water.
Yeah. Well, it like I said, he'll have to answer to God. So
I know, but I'm just saying I wasn't expecting that to come out of Chrissy.
yeah, I appreciate it, Chrissy. I appreciate it, everybody. It is what it is.
I know, but we like to protect our handicap and people.
Yeah.
That defend
Well, it's
themselves.
just like real real time. I can't think of his name. The guy that's almost blind that always is like looking and then.
John Parker.
Yeah. So somebody gave him some crap the other day about fishing on the dock and made him leave.
Those people better be glad we're not around.
Yeah. But now that I'm in the wheelchair, I've gotten, and that happened. And then, some other things have happened where people confront me and stuff, but, I'm kind of loud. People get in my way or people offend me or something. I give my 2 cents back. I don't hold back. And so I've had a few times where people have, just been jerks. You just be a jerk back or you just leave. I mean, what choice you got? But I had a great time, Avid, yesterday. That was so much fun. I need to do it again. We need to. You said we was going to have the itty bitty tournament again, type thing, but you're going to change the rules up.
I'm gonna add a few rules so that people will use a shopping bag to weigh the small catch instead of putting that big hook through the gills.
Yeah, and then also people need to. I know some people was having trouble with their scales reading so small.
Right.
The scale that I was using is literally like $9, and it goes down. I mean, it goes down to grams even.
Chrissy Brown, DHA had a 0.98 pound yesterday, and Solo came in with a 0.83 pound and one today.
Yeah, if I'd have caught more than 4 channel yesterday.
If you had caught one more, you'd been probably at a pound.
Yeah, well, and since we were able to call out 2 of them,
Yeah,
swap out 2.
right.
If I would have got a couple more of those that were like 1.7 or something.
Oh yeah, you'd have been under a pound that way, but the fish just quit biting on you.
Yeah. It was.
Hey, you did your best.
I'm not worried about it. I had a great time. It does not bother me one bit that Avid and Solo beat me. So, I mean, not Avid, Rustic. Sorry.
But see, you set that bar so high, they had to change their complete tactics because they go after big cats.
Yeah.
So you made them think. You made them work harder to even get anywhere close to you.
Yeah. Well, also, I think if you do that again, I definitely want to be in it. But I think that another thing is maybe we should just use full size actual cat rods instead of like what I was using, the 2 and 4 pound line.
Oh, whatever. I leave the rods up to you guys. I just make the rules for the stipulations.
Yeah.
What you can use, what you can't use, and stuff like that. But the rods you guys want to use is up to you.
Yeah. Well, being my first, turning and everything, it was fun, and it's a learning curve, So now I know kind of what to expect, and I mean, I kind of did from watching everybody. I got that mosquito, but kind of from watching everybody in the past, I've kind of got the gist of it. But yesterday was different because it was me, there and trying to keep the phone going and keep signal and batteries. There's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize.
Yeah, I'm gonna start invoking some kind of bag for your fish that are dinks for the itty bitties.
Yeah, grocery stack.
He's not going to hurt the fish by putting that hook into the gills and not trying to hurt them.
Yeah, and a grocery sack literally weighs like 2 grams, so it's not going to throw your.
He's not even going to throw your weight off.
Yeah.
You're going to put it on there. You ain't going to feel anything until you put that little bitty catfish in there. Then it's going to register.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is with the grocery sack, if everybody uses it, it'll be fair, and everybody will have that extra gram or so.
Right.
So.
And as they're leaving, if they see trash, they can pick it up and put it in the grocery sack.
Yeah. Yeah. I my biggest thing is I pick up. I may not pick up the trash that I see in the rocks and stuff, just because I can't get to it. And sometimes I'll have Gregory pick up a few things, but Gregory's like, he doesn't want to touch other things that other people touched, if that makes sense.
I can understand that for him.
He don't even like people touching him. Like he'll let me and Naomi touch him, but anybody else he just pulls away. So, but I told him I was like, Abbott's having has a trash bag contest every month. I said he has it where you fill up a trash bag and stuff, and then you try to win a contest. And so Gregory's kind of thinking now that he might, he told me yesterday he forgot his gloves because he was going to take some gloves and pick up a bag of trash. And I was like, well, that was good, Gregory. I'm glad that you want to do that.
At the end of the month, if someone would turn in all the trash that they picked up, the total weight that they pick up off the riverbanks, boat ramps, city parks, national parks, trails, and whatever that's out in public, but no household trash, no trash from your truck. if they were to collect all that trash and keep the total weights for the end of the month and send it in to me, someone would have won $100 in September. But no one turned in.
Nobody turned nothing in September at all, did they?
Nope.
Yeah. See, so somebody would have just gathered one bag, they'd have won.
Yeah, one bag could have won $100 bill. So in November, I'm going to do it again.
Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll do it. If I go do it, I'm gonna do a video because y'all gonna see me crawling down the rocks all over the rock. Maybe that'll encourage somebody else to go do it. See my fat butt crawling down the rock.
Please don't hurt yourself.
I'll
Please do not hurt yourself.
wait until I heal up first.
Hey, you and Donna, we don't want.
Oh, speaking of Dawn R, did you find out what happened to Dawn yesterday?
No, I've been trying to contact Paulette to find out. I'm going to do it again tonight.
Okay. Well,
October is almost over, so no one wanted in on October, so I'm going to wait until November to see who wants in for November. I tried to get people interested in October, and no one answered, so no one got back with me, so I could put the name on the list of who was interested in doing a trash bag challenge in October.
well, you got a video on that too, don't you, for the trash bag challenge?
I'm going to do another one for November.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on.
October 2nd. So let's do it this way.
Well, I'll keep an eye on that, and when you post a post about it, I will share that out.
Matter of fact, I'm going to just do it this way. Since you're live, we're live right now. Today's October 2nd of 2022. You have 29 days to pick up trash. If you went in on this trash bag challenge, wait until this live is over and put your name in the comments below, and I'll write your names down that are in this contest, and you'll have a month to pick up trash, gather all your weights, and by the last Sunday in October, I want them turned into me either by messenger or email, so I can compare to see who the winner is, and the winner will get $100. Either a gift card, PayPal. So
For $100, I am gonna make a video of me going to go clean up trash
and
crawling down the rocks.
That $100 has come from Florida Flash Fishing.
Well, we're gonna have to up that.
And how you weigh your trash is by using a catfish scale weight. The scale that you weigh your catfish.
Yeah, and I got one thing to say about it. Don't be cheating and put no 8-ounce egg sinkers in your trash.
Nope.
Like some people do in walleye.
Florida Flash has generously donated $100 for this trash bag challenge.
Well, I'm gonna have to see what I can
go to
do.
Walmart and get a fish scale that can weigh up to 50 pounds.
Yeah, that one that I got, like I said, I got to remember where I got it from because I don't even remember where I got it from. But it goes to 110 pounds, so 50 kilos, and but it goes clear down. I mean, tiny.
Well, you don't need grams; you just need ounces and pounds for most of the tournaments on this channel.
Yeah,
But
unless we go catch some minnows.
It goes off pounds anyway.
Yeah, I have plans of trying to find a boat and stuff. But with Naomi not working, we're going to have to. We got that on hold. But
Right.
if I can find something that just a few $100, I don't care if it's decrepit. I've kind of been thinking this over. I would like to have a pontoon boat, but the thing is pontoon boats are so big and bulky, and with me being in the wheelchair, they're so hard to get on as far as trying to get past the gate. And I was able to do that with this last week, get on the pontoon boat, but it was pretty sketchy.
Right.
And but I got to thinking that if I could find an old V bottom, even if it's one that's like the old Pleasure one that's got the windshield that splits that you can walk through and then have the seats up front.
Right.
Since I have the shop, I rebuilt 2 boats back in the day, and I'm thinking that if I could find some old junk V bottom that floats, doesn't have too much damage, I just strip it out, put a flat deck back in it, and kind of make a boat for me and Gregory, just big enough for me and Gregory and maybe Mama. So
Yeah, just make a boat big enough for the 3 of us.
yeah, and I don't need no big old fancy 100 and some plus. I mean, I'll be fine with a little 9.9. Because I ain't. If any place I'm going to go, I'm just going to want to be trolling anyway. So
Yeah, trolling, drifting, bottom bouncing.
yeah, and like my lake that I go to, Cheney Lake or Cheney Reservoir, it's like 5,000 acres. So even at 9.9, moving what do they go, like 5 miles an hour or something, 7?
They need if they're drifting or trolling, they go about a mile or so an hour. Just
Yeah, but I'm talking if you had to use that thing as your main motor and be full throttle, you can probably get that thing 5-7 miles an hour, which
oh yeah.
Cheney Lake's only 7 miles from one end to the other. So at 7 miles an hour, it will take you an hour to go from the dam to the river.
Hell,
And if I got a smaller boat instead of the pontoon boat, see, the problem is pontoon boats, they set a little deeper than some of these V-bottoms. I know some people say they don't.
Deeper because they got a lot of weight on them.
Yeah. I know some people say they don't, but I've been on plenty of pontoon boats where we caught the sandbar and the V-bottoms just go right over. So.
Oh yeah, Muddy River Catfishing also has a pontoon boat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a smaller boat would, just a small V-bottom, or even, I don't want a tri-haul because the tri-haul just beat my back up too much.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking a V-bottom would be good. And if it has if it has a dual console, like, passenger side, driver side, cut the passenger side out. Like I said, make it all flat deck, captain's console on the right side, and be done with it.
Yeah.
I have a Sawzall. I know how to fiberglass. I know how to weld. I'll make something work. But the kayaks, they're fun.
Paul Boyd says
It's
he has a pontoon too.
Huh?
Paul Boyd says he has a pontoon boat as well.
Paul does, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of a pontoon boat because it's nice, big, flat. You can roll around. But the little pontoon boat that I was on last week, it was nice because it didn't have no chairs on it.
Right.
And then there's a guy from over here by where I live that he's got a big fancy pontoon boat, but it's the furniture in it is that big plush, nice cushiony, I'm talking, a $40,000 pontoon boat, and that was used. So I'm scared to get on his boat. I'm scared that my wheelchair is going to rip his seats, or, I can't turn around on his boat. I can only go forward or back because my wheelchair is too big to turn on that.
Right.
And that's when I started getting to thinking, well, maybe I'd just be better off with a little V-bottom. Just something, like I said, I don't even care if it's from the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, just a good old V-bottom that's, maybe 17 to 19 feet long.
No.
I'd settle for a 16, but I think a 16 would be kind of short, doing what I'd want to do to it.
An 18 or 24 foot V-boat or pontoon would probably be about right.
Yeah. I think if I got a pontoon, I'd want to stay more like the 18 to 20.
Yeah, 18 to 24.
So
20, 24 foot would be about right.
Yeah.
You play in your room where you can move around on your.
I just
So,
the thing that scares me of it is getting on and off of it, and
right.
you know, I mean, with the regular boat, they set low enough that you know I almost just kind of fall down into it.
Yeah, but see, when it's in the water and you on a boat ramp, it's sitting right about level with a boat, with a dock, to where you can just roll yourself right into it.
Yeah, but that's the scary thing is rolling over to it, making that gap.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that gap.
Yeah, and then but in a regular boat, it would be more like I would probably just get out of my chair onto the dock and then put my feet into the boat, and then
Right.
just slide on down into the seat.
But normally with a pontoon boat, someone's always there to help you get in it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll get right now. I can't. Right now, I don't have enough money to worry about it. So,
Robin says carry a small, make a small ramp from the pontoon to the dock.
well, and that was the other thing is if I did get a pontoon boat, I would probably just put a folding. Okay, like in a wheelchair van, the ramp goes out like this and then sets down, and it's only ran by a chain, a small
Right.
like a bicycle chain, just a little heavier, and then a couple round gears, and
Right.
that's what folds that up and down, and then an actuated servo. You're
you know
talking,
You know that side gate on a pontoon boat where everybody loads in and out?
yeah. Well, that's
You
what I'm saying. I can
take
just
that-
take and make the gate and make a ramp that
ramp.
folds out with an actuator and the chain, just like what's in a ramp van, and just push a
Yeah.
button and the thing will go over and land on the dock,
Yeah,
and then I
just
can
take
just
out the
wheel
gate.
over.
Take out that gate and make that into make that gate the side entrance.
Yeah, into the ramp. Yeah, and then when it goes up, it acts as the gate to
Uh-huh.
you know why it's up. So when you're on the lake, you don't fall out. Then when you get back to the dock, it just goes.
Yeah, no, hey, and if someone wants to go fishing, they can just lower it down and use it for a diving board.
Yeah, there you go.
I gotta shut up. My mind will give you 100,000 ideas off that one.
Yeah, and that's my problem is as I was showing you before we came on, I've got I've got projects and projects and projects.
Yeah.
You know,
We're not gonna go into the Jeep yet.
yeah.
No, he'd need something a little bit more heavier gauge in that gate for a ramp, because that's real thin aluminum metal on that gate.
No, if I'd go get some plate, some
Yeah,
diamond plate, aluminum, something that's some 60, 65 or something that's
Yeah.
got nice and hard.
Yeah, go get the diamond plating because it'd be giving your wheel some traction.
Yeah. Speaking of wheels, you know, I was noticing that my wheelchairs are showing cord.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't have no traction left. I'm gonna have to get some new wheels before winter gets here.
How often do you have to replace your Hot Wheels?
As active as I am, I replace my wheels once a year. The problem is they're like it's like $400 and some.
Holy crap.
So yeah, you can. My problem is I have solid tires because I don't like pneumatics. They just if you run air tires, you get stickers all the time, and you can't. There was one day I had 7 flats in a day, and then you got to take the wheel off and then take the tube out and do the whole patch and stuff. I got tired of that, so I went back to solids. But with solids, when they sell you the wheel, they make you buy the whole rim and everything.
Turtle Lady even owns a pontoon boat.
So, but I got, it is what it is. It's like everybody's, you know, I saved so much money on shoes. The pair of boots I got that I wear 2 pairs of shoes. I wear my fishing and kayak shoes, which you can see through, and you know they got the nets and all that on it.
Yeah.
This is my summer shoes because it lets my feet breathe. But my winter boots, are just a pair of DeWalt, work boots, steel toe. And I've had them for probably 5 years, and the soles look brand new.
Yeah. Have you ever?
I think my last pair of boots I had for probably 7 years, and then I just wore the toes out by crawling around on the concrete and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guy that this wheelchair, it stops me, but it only stops me to a point. I mean, if I need to get up underneath the car and work on something, I'll crawl right down out of this chair onto the ground and scoot up underneath that car and do what I need to do. And I can, if I grab, like, get up to the side of the car, I can put my weight up on the car and use my arms to get up, and then lean over and put my belly on the fender and be able to work on the engine and stuff like that. It's just, you end up, it hurts your belly a little bit.
Well, you got yourself set to where nothing stops you.
Yeah. Well,
if you stop you, you find a way around it to where you can get it done.
Yeah. Well, I rebuilt a school bus as a camper about 7 or 8 years ago, and I camouflaged it, and I took the wheelchair ramp and moved it up to the front from the back and put a queen bed in the back. And, it was just an old Ford school bus, just a single wheel school, it had four wheels, not a dually. And it was a fun project. Big fancy bumper on the front and the back, and big old. I mean, this thing looked like a apocalyptic bus at the end, and it was going to be our camper and all that. And then a buddy of mine, he lost his house and he was in a wheelchair, so I sold him that dirt cheap, and he actually lived in it for a while. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Robin says you saw her fishing boots yesterday.
Yeah. But when I painted that school bus, because I couldn't reach up the sides, I have this big I-beam that runs across in my shop. And I chained my wheelchair up to that I-beam, and I pulled myself up, and I painted that school bus.
That is ingenious.
I was 7 foot up in the air hanging from the chain hoist with straps going through my wheelchair, like free recovery straps, because they're only like 5 feet long. Go up through there, and then I had them all hooked in front of me, and then was able to pull myself up with the chain hoist and then let myself down.
Guarantee you had your wheels locked and you didn't rock that chair.
No, it swung a little bit. You could touch the bus and stop yourself, but if you just spraying it, going shh, shh, just the air would make you want to like start to rock and stuff. It was quite an experience. But like you said, if you let something stop you, what are you going to do? You're going to go crazy. Well, I've been crazy twice, and I may still be a little bit, but I try not to be.
Like me and Robin says you're creative. I think you're ingenious for what you do to get around your handicap to get things done.
Well, I'm a guy that this world seems like they wanted, like, if something breaks, what does everybody do? They go look and see about buying a new one. I just bought a new dishwasher because our last one was 18 years old. I've fixed it 9 times over the last 18 years. And I'm talking about me. I get on whatever, I'll figure it out. A couple months ago, our stove quit working. We have a natural gas oven, cook stove, and it quit working. So what did I do is I got online, and the first thing I did was I smell gas in my oven, but it's not igniting. What do you do? And it said that the igniter was probably bad. So I Googled igniter for, the Samsung stove, and it popped up, and I ordered one, and it came in, and I changed it. So instead of going and buying another $1,000 stove for $35, I fixed my own. I
have an idea for a catfish tournament.
What is that?
As an idea I'm thinking about, it'd be a slot tournament between 2 pounds and 20 pounds.
Between 2 and 20?
Yeah, for channel cats, blues, and flatheads. Now, how would that make you think on catching that kind of slot?
Well, that first thing that comes to mind is I'd want to go to Gregory's spot, but the problem is Gregory's spot is a lease, so that's basically a paid lake. So
Right, but it has to be all public water. No
yeah, which means I'd probably go to Cheney. So that would be the only other place I could think of that would do. I could do that good would be Canopolis or Marion, but those are a couple-hour drives, so I'm more comfortable staying where I know I got signal if I'm going to do a tournament now.
Robin, that would not be a no call. That would be a numbers game.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be all numbers. If I did that.
But yeah, that would be good. The problem would be, I mean, my problem is the signal, because I only got signal at certain places that I know. Because I've been trying. I kind of figured out if you can watch YouTube while you're sitting there, then usually you can do StreamYard.
Oh, I forgot. JBT came in.
Who did?
JBT.
Oh, right on. I was watching him yesterday.
Okay. So I have all kinds of ideas for tournaments, but I just don't really put a lot of them to the test. I just like doing things off the wall instead of how other people do their tournaments, like the most fish, the most weights, or something like that on blues and flatheads. I like going outside the box and doing opposite of the tournaments. I like making things unique. I like putting a twist into a tournament.
Yeah, it seemed like some of the guys I've been watching lately, they need to have turtle tournaments.
But I am wanting to do an all women's lady anglers
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, I heard you say that. Then who was it that said that if they wore a dress or something that they could be in it?
I told the guy someone said if they wore a dress, they'd be in it. I said no. You have to be a real woman, no makeup, no whiskers, no hairy legs, no hair in your armpits, no hair in your arms. Pure woman.
Yeah. You got to have the right chromosome.
No, you won't, JBT. I know if you're a man or a woman just by looking at you.
Yeah, I think that would be. I would definitely watch an all woman tournament. I mean, usually when you guys have tournaments and stuff, I'm in and out. But the bad thing is like I love watching Jody's channel, but she always comes on at like 9:00. So I get to like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I'm sitting there doing this thing. You know, like what?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, who caught what? Then I'm about when it hits that 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm ready for bed. I go back the next day and watch the highlights. I like I said, Jody, she puts on after she does her live. If she catches good stuff, she makes nice little videos out of it.
Oh yeah.
I got to figure out how to go. So I didn't realize you could go back into your StreamYard. Or back into your video after you've done your StreamYard video and stuff, and go back in and edit that and take sections out.
Miss Kennedy, I did not mean that in that way. I mean, real women are allowed in it, but JBT in a dress is not allowed in it.
Wasn't he getting timed out yesterday?
Yeah, someone kept saying time him out. I don't remember who it was, and somehow JBT got hammered.
He got timed out 4 or 5 times, didn't he?
Actually, he got timed out about 9 times.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. He lost his hammer three times.
I'm always so scared that when I'm on those lives where if I drop my phone, sometimes you hit the screen, it pops up, like report or delete or something or remove or whatever. I'm like, oh, did I block somebody?
That does happen.
Yeah, well, if I ever do it, I probably don't mean to. But yeah, there's a couple places that I've been wanting to go back and try that I haven't been since I've been in the wheelchair. The biggest thing is the reason why I started my channel was mostly tying jigs and stuff. But another part was to go around and show the accessibility of places and things, kind of, the wheelchair life and fishing. And a lot of people kept saying do it because it just encourages other people with disabilities to get out. And that was kind of my thing is maybe if I get out more and film it, not just get out more, but get out more filming it, then maybe more people would be, maybe get, the courage up to just go and try instead of just sitting in front of the TV all day, or in front of their computer watching, YouTube like I do. Even when I'm doing all this stuff, I usually got somebody playing in the background if somebody's live just for, to support their channel and stuff.
Solo Texan's asking, did you get his email about the jigs?
Solo, yes, I did. I did not. Yesterday, Avid, when we did the sticker giveaway, they were supposed to message you and you were supposed to message me with their address.
Right.
I don't remember who that was.
I have to go back and watch and find out.
Yeah, I haven't got nothing yet, but I got on my live. I gave away some jigs and some stickers, and they'll be in the mail tomorrow.
We gave them your email.
Huh?
I thought we gave them your email.
I did, but I haven't gotten anything yet.
I'll go back and watch that, see if I can find out who that was.
Yeah. Well, it was whoever gave. Whoever you said, I can't remember. You'll have to go back and watch it, or I'll have to go back. You told them to message you, and then you would message me. So
right.
But then we also said that they could email me too. So
right.
But I have a live every Friday just for people to know. I've just started it a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to be going live every Friday morning at 8:05 a.m. Central Time, and it's basically it's going to be mostly tying jigs. So I'll be drinking coffee and getting the morning going on Friday. That's when Gregory and my other son Matthew go to the thrift store, so I get that hour or so of peace and quiet. And I just figured a good time to do a live. It doesn't seem like there's too many other people on Friday mornings.
JBT's fixing to get hammered again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, DHA, don't forget to send me my $200 Amazon gift card I won on your channel.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Bing. I know. That's why he got hammered.
If I had $200, I guarantee you it wouldn't be going to no Amazon gift card. It'd be going in to pay my cable bill, because I'm behind on my cable bill and I'm behind on my electric bill.
Oh, I understand.
It's just life. I mean,
that's how life is. Just
let me put it this way. Naomi is not working. She hasn't worked for 1 year. We have exhausted all of our resources. So we're down to me.
Right.
I mean, Gregory gets something, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, Robin C says, kaboom, JBT be gone. You got slapped with a hammer again.
But since we are supporting me and my channel, I know we were supposed to talk mostly about catfish. I do tie jigs. And so if somebody feels the need to help me and my family out, well, I'll be more than happy to sell you some.
Well, promote your page and your store if you like. This
Well,
is
I actually went ahead and went to GoDaddy.com, and I now own DoubleHookAngling.com. I am trying to find somebody to build my website for me. I looked into it, tried to do some of it myself, and I am I'm a digital idiot. Trying to learn YouTube and StreamYard's hard enough, and then my editing program. But
Christy Brown says Donar is okay. He is just tired and weak, and he had to go home and rest. But he's
okay. Good. I was worried about Don, so I'm glad to hear that he's okay. But yeah, my website, when I get it up and running, I will be selling my jigs on there, and I will be selling my T-shirts, and I've got new T-shirts coming out. They're being made in the next week or so. My stickers and my jigs and that kind of things. And then when I get my rod holders designed in the way I want, I'm going to try to mass produce them in my shop. And I'm basically just trying to supplement, trying to do my thing, get my stuff going. And on my DoubleHookAngling.com, I will have double hook. There'll be like a double hook angling community, because double hook angling isn't just me and Gregory. Double hook angling is all of us. I'm just Dave at Double Hook Angling, and that's Gregory at Double Hook Angling, and it's all of you at Double Hook Angling. If when I get my page up, and we can do this whole join thing and all of that. So.
Now, do you plan on selling merch like hats, shirts, stickers?
Yes,
whatever?
I will have these. This is my hat. Oh, I don't know how well you can see. There you go.
That's a nice.
These are my hat, and they're little leather patch, and these are $25 mailed to your door if you live in the Continental 48. I have my Double Hook Angling shirts. I don't have very many left of the ones of my old design, which is the one that I was wearing yesterday with the cutoff sleeves, and then the one that I keep saying Avid, Rustic was wearing today on Avid's channel. And then I've got the new design that comes out, and the new design will say, "Can you jig it?" on the front with 3 jigs across the front. And then on the back, it'll say Double Hook Angling, just like my orange sticker with the lime green and all that. And the shirts that I'm getting only coming in orange, the safety orange, and then safety hot pink. Those are the only 2 colors I'm getting of the new shirts, except for I'm getting like 6 of them that are 3/4 sleeves, because my wife likes 3/4 sleeves. So I'm getting a black sleeve or a charcoal sleeve, light gray shirt with all the same thing, the can you jig it and what have you. So we're just trying to make a go at this. I've been doing YouTube on the fishing for 2 or 3 years now. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look when I started this page or the channel.
Hello, Barefoot Pontoon Jody. Welcome in.
That's kind of what I want to do with my channel and my, .com. And it's all about all of you people, every one of you.
No,
I'm just the one giving my opinion, and it ain't probably always right, but it's my opinion, and I'm open to suggestions. We're all here to learn. If you got a better way of catching a fish, I want to know about it. And if I got a better way of catching a fish, trust me, I'll tell you about it. And I ain't the guy that goes, when somebody goes, "Hey, what you using?" And I'll go, "Bait." I ain't that guy. I'll be like, "I'm using this. I'm at this depth. I'm fishing out there." That's me. I'm the guy that if you're crappie fishing and I got a bucket full of crappie, or if I got 2 or 3 crappie, or even if I got no crappie and you're sitting over there and you're fishing for crappie, I'm going to be like, hi, how you doing? Hey, I got some jigs here. This is what I use. Try this out. If you don't like it, fine. You don't have to take them. I give away more jigs than I sell, and that's probably my downfall. But usually when I give away those jigs, those people call me back and say, hey, I need more.
Right.
So, and if they don't, well, then they got a couple good jigs, and I hope they had a great time and happy fishing too.
I have bought over 12 boxes of Lyle Stokes hand-tied jigs,
Yeah.
and I've had great luck with them.
Yeah. And I'm going to, when I do get my .com up and going, I'm going to have 3 different size boxes. I'm going to have a beginner pack, which will be a basic 12 count jig. You'll get 12 jigs, and you'll just get a little for sale box that they just set in. Then they'll step up, and then there'll be a middle box that'll have 50 jigs in it, and that box will be $75, but it'll come in a fancy box. All the jigs will be held in place, that kind of thing. And then I'll have what I call the ultimate box, which will be 150 jigs, and then that will be a determined price to be set because of material costs and everything. I'll just have to kind of figure out. But if you want a t-shirt, the t-shirts that I got left, sizes vary, color vary, and you can hit me up at doublehooangling.com. Once I get that up and going, well, I wasn't done, Avid. Sorry. You can hit that up when I get that up and going. But in the meantime, just hit me up at doublehooangling@gmail, and I'll take care of you through there for now. And I'm sorry that it has to be that way. We'll have to be back and forth, but I'm getting there. Sorry, Avid.
That's all right. DHA says, DHA is a good dude. I barely came across his channel, but I can tell he's a legit good dude.
Who said that?
JBT.
Oh, right on. Thanks, bud.
He's trying to make up for
He's trying to get them brownie points in, huh?
from the $200 Amazon card.
Well, if he sends me a $200 Amazon card, I'll be sure to give it out to somebody.
No, he was saying he's making up for the Amazon statement card.
I know. I got you.
So, what sizes of shirts do you carry, or do you have made?
I have all my shirts are adult sizes, just because it's cheaper for me that way. When you get into the kids stuff, it just gets weird because the logo is so big, and if I do kids stuff, they have to reshrink it, so then a whole nother screen print cost, and it just gets into that. So right now I have smalls, mediums, large. I have some extra. I think I have a couple extra large left, and then I think I have 3 or so double X's.
I'd need a thing of 3X.
Yeah, my new shirts coming. My new shirts that I have coming, I will have small all the way up to 5X.
Wow.
And then I'm going to get one hoodie printed up so I can have a hoodie for winter. Just for fall, I should say, just to get started with, to see if everybody likes the hoodie design. And if they did, then I will buy. If there's enough people saying that they want. The problem is how this whole T-shirt sticker, it all gets into the money, and you don't sell them. You sell them for as much as you can, but you don't want to oversell to people. But as much as they cost, you don't make much at it. It's just getting your name out for the most part. So jigs is where I make my money.
I know. Chrissy says you need fat kids' clothes.
She needs fat kids' clothes.
No,
yeah,
you need fat kid clothes.
And here's the other thing is most people don't know that I'm kind of an artsy fartsy guy. So I drew the crappie that's on my design. I drew that with a Sharpie on a notebook piece of paper, or I should say typing paper. And then I took that over to my buddy that's next door and said, "Hey, can you put this on, copy this in the computer and make me t-shirts off of it?" And he's like, "Sure." So the letters were all done by the computer, but the crappie I drew myself.
Right.
And I just, it's just me. I'm a jack of all trades, but not a master of a single one of them.
Yeah, Jody says she prefers chubby clothes.
Chubby.
Chubby,
Um,
not fat.
Yeah, I like fluffy clothes.
So it's been 2 hours. Any last words?
Oh, I just want to thank everybody that came and watched your channel yesterday and cheered us on the Itty Bitty Kitty tournament. And, the guys did good today. And I want to thank you for having me on to talk about, catfishing and other things that I've got going on. I appreciate you. Like I said, I never expected anybody want to hear me talk about fishing. I mean, I don't know a lot, but I'm willing to learn, and I think that's what we all need to do. I want to grow in this community. I want to continue to help people as well as get help from people. I'm not begging for help individually, except for help me with the knowledge of where to go, what to do. Maybe of somebody on here is from my area, Wichita area in Kansas. Maybe they can tell me of a good place to go fishing. That's accessible by the chair.
Danimal Creations is in Springfield working. How close are you to Missouri?
For me to get to Springfield takes about 4 hours.
No, I mean how close are you to Missouri?
Oh, I'm halfway across the state of Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, if you, I mean, most people know where Wichita, Kansas is at. It's in the middle of the state.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
I'm still to the west of Wichita, so I'm closer to Colorado than I am Missouri.
I'm trying to think. Who in the catfish community do I know that's in Kansas?
Well, I know of a couple people that are on YouTube that are from the Wichita area, but I've never seen them do a live or anything like that. They just do edited stuff.
I know. I'm trying to think. I know that. I just can't remember their names.
One guy is called Slinging Baits. He's got
yeah, that's right.
He's got like 10,000 subscribers. I've been subscribed to him for a long time. I think when I subscribed to him, he only had I think he was still under 1,000 subscribers.
Have you ever tried messaging him?
No, I don't know how to message anybody on this YouTube stuff. Well, even though I got a community tab, I still ain't figured it out.
Normally, if you go on their About Me page on the YouTube channel, it'll give you an email that you can email them and talk to them and correspond.
Oh, yeah. You got to do that on the laptop, though. You can't see that on the phone.
Most phones you can do that with. Some phones you can't.
Yeah. But every time I try to go to it, every time I try to look at that stuff, it just gives me the general information.
Right, but if you do it on a laptop, you should find the email.
Yeah. That's how I found a few. I was trying to find your email, Avid, and I'm just going to need to message you. Did I send you stickers?
No.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I did or not. I need to.
Aaron says you're in Wichita, Kansas.
No, I'm in Kingman, Kansas, but Wichita is 35 miles east of me. But if somebody had a good fishing hole in Wichita, I'd be willing to go, is what I'd get at. I just don't like fishing the river boardwalk down there. They got the Arkansas River runs through Wichita, and they do have some sidewalk frontage down there and stuff. But the area that it's at, I'm too scared to go because there's bums living up underneath the street, the bridges and things like that. And I'm not about dealing with no meth heads.
So, what is your plans for your channel?
Just to continue to have fun, and I was doing a lot of jig time videos, and then I got into doing the lives, and I really like the lives. I was supposed to do a couple jig videos this week and show the close up in the corner and all that edited out, and I didn't get to it because we had so much going on with Naomi being sick and the tournament and then the Jeep and just everything. It just was too much. So I'm going to get a couple jig videos out this week that's edited out. I want to do some kayak catfish and things with the new Uncle Lou's and out on the kayak. And tomorrow I'm going to go out on the kayak, but I'm going to go chase crappie because the fall crappie bite is starting to get on here. And a buddy of mine caught a 17-incher yesterday. So 17-inch crappie always sounds good to me. I don't care.
Yeah, trust me. I love crappie. The lake I normally go to for crappie is they're not biting. I don't know what's wrong with that lake.
Yeah.
Because normally we'd catch 2 and 3 pound, pound and a half to 3 pound crappie out of there. But right now, I don't know what's wrong with that lake, but the crappie ain't biting. The bluegills are hardly biting. The cats ain't doing anything in that lake.
Is it low or did it turn over?
I'm thinking it might be in the process of turning over by the signs I've seen.
Yeah.
But according to the water temperature, I think it's not even close to turning over yet.
Yeah. Well, our the lake, the reservoir I fished, Cheney, it turned over a month and a half ago or so, and there was there was dead fish everywhere. You could pull up by the boat ramp, and there was 200-300 fish just within 20 feet of the boat ramp.
Well, normally it's your bait fish that are dead.
Yeah, it was all shad. There was a lot of buffalo in there, some quillback. For those that don't know, a quillback is kind of like a sucker or carp.
It's between a sucker, a carp, and skipjack, because they have that real long thread fin dorsal.
Yeah. Well, they're in the sucker family, but I can't remember what genus or whatever. But they're actually, the quillbacks are excellent to eat. It's just like there's one of the buffalo is disgusting, but one buffalo is really good. One of the like the smallmouth buffalo or the largemouth buffalo, one of them is good and one of them is not. So, but I've eaten quillbacks that were 12 inches long, smoked them on the smoker. Oh my goodness, those are so tasty. But here's the thing, what I was going to say earlier is I don't eat catfish in Kansas. I told you that because of the parasites. People think I'm nuts, but I just don't do it. I'd rather eat the crappie, the bluegill, the catfish. To me, Kansas legalized noodling again, and they put permits to it. I know there's a lot of you guys noodle, but when I was 13 years old, I watched a kid that was with us, and we were talking about where we went to Brazos River and stuff down in Texas. I watched a kid drown in front of me because we couldn't get his hand out of the flathead's mouth. And when rescue finally got there and got him out of the hole, the fish still had his mouth on his hand, holding it onto it. And this was an hour later when they pulled this boy out, and the fish was still stuck on. Cat's trying to come in the shop.
That's why there should always be a couple of adults with a kid close by who can help pull them out.
Well, here's the thing is, in Kansas, you, as the permit holder, are the only one that can touch the fish. Nobody can help you touch that fish until you have it secured on a stringer. That's dangerous.
That's stupid.
Well, that's the law. But it's dangerous, and that's why I don't agree with noodling. But also, the problem is our rivers here are so low the last couple of years that with everybody noodling, I know one guy that had his permit, and he went out, and you're only supposed to get 2 fish with your permit. Well, he went out and he caught 30 of them, and they were all over 50 pounds. And he cleaned every single one of them. So right there, all of those fish for however many years they've been there living, and you're going to go kill all those fish just to fill your freezer and your buddy's freezer and your other buddy's freezer.
That's stupid.
Well, I wanted to turn him in, and I'm still, I mean, I'm up in the air. I mean, legally, I'm probably obligated because I know about it, but you know, he's a friend of mine. So do I just let him take the chance himself? And because he's posted pictures, it's not like he's hiding it. It's just, I'm against noodling. I'm sorry, guys.
I used to noodle, and I see your point, but when I noodled, I always had someone there to back me up.
Yeah.
To
Well,
help me come back, help me pull myself up, even though I had control of the fish. They didn't touch the fish, but they helped me get.
Yeah.
If I was struggling, they helped me get back to the top of the water.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is they give permits to a kid. You know, I mean, you got a 10-year-old kid trying to pull a 50-pound fish out of a hole. It ain't going to happen.
No, it ain't. You don't need to be giving permits to a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
They should have to be 18 and older or 21 and older to get a permit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's the whole thing of where you start, where do you stop? So, you know, you got to appease some people and you can't appease everybody, but sometimes appeasing some ruins it for all. Because in my opinion, the fact that he took all those flathead out of a 6-mile stretch of river, and when there's only 6 inches of water in that river, and he's getting these big flathead that are pinned in these holes, barely able to survive themselves until the next rain, and they get, you know, that's a big chunk of the future population just gone. And everybody was like, you know, back when I was a kid and I first moved to Kansas, it was like every other day you heard of somebody catching a 40 or 50 out of the river.
Right.
Now you hear about it once or twice a year,
Well,
unless they go noodling.
Yeah, he took all the breeding stock out of the river.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is. I just don't see the point, because you're wrestling a fish out of a hole and then you're going to take a picture with it and let it go, or you're going to keep the thing and kill it and eat it. So, but here's the thing is, when you wrestle that fish out of that hole, there's only one reason why it's in that hole.
Yeah.
And it's because it's got babies in that hole that it's protecting.
Uh-huh.
That's why it bites you. Those catfish don't set in a hole any other time except for when they got babies. At least that's what everything that I could find or read from biologists, not just, you know, people saying stuff, but from biologists or other things like that. That's the only thing I could find, that the only reason why they're in those holes is nesting. Right. So when you pull that fish out of that hole, if there's 5,000 babies in that hole and you pull that fish out, I guarantee you there's other fish waiting by that hole to get in there to eat them babies.
I can see that.
So that's kind of my rant on on that. And I'm sorry, Avid. I just went on a 10-minute rant about
a lot of us that did noodle at one time. A lot of people I hooked around and noodle with, we've always found 3 or 4 cats in that hole. So we pulled out a couple of the big ones or a couple of the small ones to make room for ones that were.
Well, and if that's the case, you know, then so be it. But I'm just not a fan of it. I have way more fun, you know. I noodled. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, we noodled. That's how my friend died in front of us, is we were noodling. But after that, I've never noodled again in my life, except for my glasses falling in the river.
I haven't noodled in 12 years.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Well, it was fun for me too, because you were with your buddies and you're playing in the river and you're doing, you know, catching fish with your hands. I see the point, but it's so dangerous, and you just got to be careful with everything else. But
to me,
I'm just not a fan.
To me, it was a rush. It was a exhilarating rush, because as soon as you stepped in that water, you expected to get bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you did when you were young and young and dumb.
Also know a guy that he's missing. He's like this because a turtle got him.
Yeah,
Stuck his hand in a what he thought was a
friend of mine
catfish hole, and ended up being a snapping turtle in there.
I seen the guy lose his whole middle finger.
Yeah,
The snapping turtle.
the guy I'm talking about, he has no thumb and only about that much of one finger, so he's got like 3.5 fingers.
Right. I know a guy when he walks around, he tells someone to read between the line, and there's literally no middle finger. It's about maybe that long.
Yeah,
A snapping turtle just bit it completely off.
right on. Well, Avid, I greatly appreciate you having me on, but I like I said, I'm in awe that anybody even wants to watch me.
Hey, Turtle Lady, I commend you for noodling. I'd love to see you do some more noodling, but I'm just more set back than if I could find some people that I could trust noodling and doing it for the right reasons. I might get back into it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, people just want to noodle and cause damage to the dens, and I'm not into that.
Well, and I do have to say, like I said, noodling is legal. If you want to do it, that's your prerogative. And I'm happy that you are able to do what you want to do. That is perfectly fine with me. Just don't ask me to join in because I'm not going to. And if you do noodle, I'll watch a noodle. Don't get me wrong. I watch noodle videos, you know. I'm not going to go do it myself. And
No.
I see the tragedy in it, but I also see the good and camaraderie in it too. So, but you know, I'm a rod and reel guy. I like my rod and reel fishing.
Hey, I love my rod and reels, but sometimes I like to get my hands on.
Yeah, and I used to love to do bow hunting when I could walk the river and stuff. But then I got to a point where even before I was in the chair, I stopped bow fishing because I started to fall in love with the carp, you know, and just, you know, blindly shooting the thing to where it's stuck in shallow water and doesn't really have no escape. To me, it was just kind of unfair. But if you got an invasive species like, you know, Asian carp or sometimes gar get too invasive and just, you know, get overpopulated and tear things up, I see the point in it, you know. But in my area, the common carp is you know, it's overran too in some places. So, you know, bow fishing, fine. I still just, you know,
catfish bait.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that like to bow hunt. I just have to say the same thing with bow hunting as I do with noodling. Just be as careful as you possibly can because it does take lives.
Oh yeah, it does. It will take lives.
So not too many people are going to be fishing on the bank or, you know, even fishing in a boat, as long as, you know, you don't have idiots trying to run you over like what happened to, wasn't it Cody that 3+1 that got ran over? Somebody got ran over in their boat by another boat.
Oh, I don't remember who that was.
Wasn't it Cody 3+1? And them guys? I think it was. I can't remember who it was.
I don't remember who it was though.
Yeah, somebody got ran over in a boat. So the accidents can happen in a boat. But if you're noodling and you're bow hunting for, you know, fish, there's a lot of times that I would shoot at the carp back in the day and it would just bounce off and go another direction. And, you know, if you got several people, it's just going to be dangerous. So just be careful whatever you do, guys. So that's pretty much what I got, Avid.
You did great tonight. You did great.
I appreciate you having me. This has been fun. I love to get to talk to everybody, and you know, we had a farm, so I could talk to a fence post. Sometimes I did. You know, you see a coyote off in the distance, you'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing over there, bud? Come here, I got something for you."
Yeah, and 3 hours later, you're still standing there talking.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a good night. I'm glad you had a great time on the tournament.
Oh, I loved it.
I'm glad
I
you
just
enjoyed yourself tonight because you got to let people know you and put a face to the name.
Yeah. I just realized that whole time we sat and I spilt that lead as I bumped that table, and then I got to thinking, I should turn that pot off. Well, I never did turn that pot off. So when I get done here, I think I'll pour. I need to pour me some half-ounce bank sinkers.
Yeah, and pick up that lead off the floor and put it back in a pot.
Yeah. Well, I got enough dust and stuff in the shop. If I pick up that lead, I'll throw it in the bucket to resmelt it.
Okay.
Just because it probably did pick up some trash. Yeah, and that's another thing is if you guys do lead and you are going to pour these big weights, don't let people tell you can't use tire weights. Go find you some tire shop somewhere. Ask them to buy their bucket of weights that they pull off. Take them home, smelt them down, do it outside. Use an open pot, just a number 2 pot or something. Smelt it down, pour it off, make your ingots. Do that twice. It'll work fine for 2 ounce and bigger. If you're trying to do jig heads and stuff with it, it's too brittle. It wants to break. It doesn't, separate the heads right, things like that. But the big weights, it works great. Go spend you $50 on a little number 2 lead pot or buy a used one, and go find you some tire weights or pick them up off the road or pick up your sinkers at your lake and what have you. You'll get enough that you can pour you a few weights. Your old ones get nice and cruddy and get tore up. Just remelt them down and pour some more. A mold's cheap. You can pour weights for about $100. And trust me, it don't take long to come up with $100 worth of fishing weight. The way weights cost these days.
True. In the final thought of yesterday's tournament and today's tournament, of all the super chats the funds were raised, were $160 in super chats.
Woohoo!
So half of that will be going to Solo Texas Adventures, and the other half would be going back into the channel.
Yeah, right on. Solo going to have a tank of gas.
Solo will be getting $80.
That's about a tank of gas in most trucks.
So I will be needing his way of getting it to him, whether it be check or PayPal or Amazon gift card or what.
Right on. You're a good man, Avid. I don't care what anybody else says.
With that being said, everybody have a good night, tight lines. Sweet dreams for those that are going to bed, and if you're going fishing, good luck.
Yep. Be blessed, everybody, and go tie something.
And I will see you on the next one, DHA.
Take care, Avid. I appreciate you having me.
Take care.
Appreciate each and everybody in chat and everybody watching.
Hey,
be blessed
we had
all.
up to 65 people in here listening to you talk.
Well, I'm sorry you guys had to hear my crackly voice.
No, that's what they wanted. They wanted to get to know you. They wanted to hear you. They wanted to put a face to the name.
Well, I appreciate each and every one of you, like I said.
And this is what I do on my channel, is if you haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually, I don't know have I ever seen you fish?
I have a few videos of me fishing.
I think I'm going to have to go back and find them because I don't think I've ever even seen you fish.
I fished on Pontoon Jody's Flathead Challenge a few times. I've fished on Danny Stone Outdoors channel.
I may have seen you fish on somebody's. You see so many people.
I've done a few Sunday lives on my channel.
Right on.
Catching cats, and I've done a few on my channel, but mostly it's been on other people's channels.
Right on. Well, I'm going to go fishing tomorrow on my kayak, and I'm going to make a video of it if I catch anything. So hopefully I do, and that one will be an edited video. I don't think I'll go live, but.
Well, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or message me, and I'll get you taken care of.
Oh, yeah. I got a few questions. It starts off with some of the StreamYard stuff, and I will message you, bud.
All right.
I appreciate you working with me on that. I never thought that this catfish community would turn out like this, and I
Yeah, I
appreciate
can
it
do a
all.
live video call on here and show you exactly how to do it.
Well, that'll be awesome.
So it'd be simple.
Yeah. Well, we can even do a, like you said, I thought about trying to get somebody to just go, do a test live and try to do some stuff like that or something. So
Yeah.
I see every once in a while somebody, like Dominic has popped up with some kind of test before or showing some stuff, and some of the other guys too. But
Anytime you want to do a test live, let me know and I'll pop up on your channel and walk you through it too. So,
right on. I appreciate it, Avid. You take care, bud.
all right, you take care.
All right,
Everybody-
later all.
Everybody, good night, tight lines, and enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you next week. Bye.